in a lot of ways, we got the normal bluster, the bravado going on. But you could tell when you looked at the smaller gestures that this was, I believe, the most painful moment of goodbye for Boris. I saw at least 5 signs of emotion beneath the bluster. Firstly, he began to lean and list very heavily. It was like he was holed beneath the waterline. He started to list onto the dispatch box. We got a lot of, and I haven't seen this from Boris before, and I've been looking for a long time. We got self-comfort rituals, self-soothing. He started to do a little thumb rub while his hands were on the dispatch box. So on the one hand, we were getting this, the thumb of power that you've seen just there, the bravado. But then we got this self-soothing gesture that I think showed a degree of kind of fragility behind it all. He was constantly tucking his shirt into the back of his trousers, which he does normally, but this was pretty much an overkill ritual. And then we got this other overkill ritual. I don't quite know where he was going with this one. We got a lot of hand to the heart, fist to the heart gesticulation that even by his standards was way too exaggerated. And then, of course, we got the walk-off. And I have to say, and you'll know this, Kate, for me, I think Boris is at his happiest when he's there at the dispatch box. It's his Tom Brown school days kind of culture going on, throwing insults out. But here we can see the moment that Tom Brown school days turned into Goodbye, Mr. Chips, and he looks distraught. He looked genuinely upset at that exit point. I have to say, Kate, because last time you asked me about Nadine Dorries, did you spot her body language was classic. While she was listening to Boris speaking, it was pure romantic heroine. She had her hand up to her neck and she was gazing at him. It was a real violins moment going on there as far as she was concerned.
I'm not sure it was when it came to Theresa May, though, and her response.
No, not a lot of love exchange there. And I quite like the way that Theresa May is quite openly coming out with the negativity here. One thing that Theresa May did when she was still in power, I don't know if you remember, she shook hands with Putin. And I still use the photograph now because she managed to shake hands and show pure dislike bordering on hatred at the same time. And I think she's probably brought some of that into the chamber here. I mean, she wasn't standing up for anybody, even for the kind of good sport behaviour that you were seeing on the opposite benches. So he said, didn't he, look ahead, but also turn around to look behind you. I think he's probably got 2 little eye holes bored into the back of his skull from Theresa May yesterday.
What do you think we should watch out for when it comes to the debates coming up, particularly the one on Sky News a fortnight today, 8 o'clock, with a live studio audience? And we've got Liz Truss and we've got Rishi Sunak. Their body language will be very telling.
It will. I'm slightly disappointed because all of the candidates that did human, the ones that did human body language, spoke normally, I suppose, have gone now. And we've got 2 quite powerful performers in a lot of ways. I mean, funnily enough, and it is ironic, Rishi Sunak at the moment needs Boris Johnson because his body language, his brand of smart, slick, always using Tony Blair's gesticulation. We get the thumb of power all the time. It actually looks better next to Boris's kind of ruffled chaos. So as a standalone, it's not working quite as effectively. The big thing to look out for, and we've discussed this before, Kate, look at the eyes. He has that huge disadvantage for a politician, which is large, expressive eyes. And I think in the other debates, you could see those moments when a point hurt him. You could see when he was looking annoyed. So big tell with Rishi will come with the eyes. He also forgets at the end that you should hold the smile. You can actually see his expression change. So, and watch out for too much of the thumb of power. He needs to watch out for sounding a bit patronising to the public. There's the thing that I dread as I get older, which is the moment that somebody in a bank or a company that I work for, that moment when they speak to you with that kind of polite kindness, but slightly patronising, as though you might not quite understand what they're saying. And it doesn't make you feel good. And I think he needs to drop that kind of shopping channel body language. Liz was so much better in the second debate, and she became a lot braver. She took Rishi on quite a lot. I think with her, she tends to be what I would call incongruent. She wants to sound and look tough, but here you can see the accelerated blink rate going on. I mean, she does like, obviously, to channel Thatcher. And this point was quite good as well. But she looks and sounds beneath the toughness quite brittle. Her body language and her vocal tone have got a kind of a brittleness to them. And I think it would be quite good for her to bring it down a notch. Do you know, Thatcher kind of had voice training to bring the voice down when she was under pressure. It needs to lose some of that brittleness and it could be way more effective.